So let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I started the recording.
Okay. Anyway, so you want to debate schooling, including homeschooling, is child abuse.
Yes, that's the proposition that we agreed on.
Right. So you feel that it's not child abuse?
I think that it would be proper, since it is your proposition, I just picked it, that you have the first word.
All right. So I would say that basically anything you do against a child's will is child abuse. So if a child says, I don't want to go to school, and you force them to go to school, that's child abuse. Uh, So including homeschooling, a child says, "No, I don't want to be homeschooled. I don't want to. I don't like school. I want to do something else. I want to go work. I want to go play with the kids. With it. Anything you do against the child's will, it's like doing something against an adult's will. It's abuse. Certainly, if you have power over them and you force them to do something against their will using power, like a power differential, that's abuse. That's my proposition.
I think that that is not the accurate use of the word abuse, nor its original meaning or common meaning at all. Common meaning
Mm,
of the word abuse is improper use of a thing.
I mean, child abuse has its own definition besides the word
Child
abuse.
abuse is not in the child abuse is improper use of a child. That is child abuse. And schooling is proper use because in the case of humans, the proper use of a human is dictated by the culture, and basically every culture, at least your culture, my culture, view schooling as something which is not in proper use of a child.
Um, uh, I guess then you would say that a society that kills children, so killing a child is not child abuse in that society.
Uh, in that society, that would follow the definition. I couldn't say that it is a child abuse under that society. I mean, I could because I'm viewing it from my cultural lens, but they cannot say that it is child abuse now. It would be a standard practice, and standard practice cannot be, by definition, abusive.
So, so what you're saying is that what is popular, basically. What is popular?
I mean, popularity, the meaning of the word is defined by its common usage, right? And otherwise, the word serves no function and cannot translate information. So the understood meaning of the word abuse is improper use of a thing. So when it is understood that proper and improper use, specifically when dealing with childhood, if you deal with something else, it can be something like manufacture or something else. But in the case of children, it is culture. So yeah, I think that you stating that schooling is child abuse is descriptively untrue.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, what you're saying makes sense. Let me look up online the definition of child abuse. See what comes up. Child abuse, Google. What is child abusing mean? Child abuse, let me see. This is Google from government.nl. I don't know where is government.nl. Here is Wait a minute. We are entrusted. So let me post it entrusted. So child abuse is not just physical violence directed at the child, it is any form of maltreatment by an adult which is violent or threatening for a child. This includes neglect. When child abuse occurs in the home, and the abuser is, for example, the child's parent or caregiver, this is a form of domestic violence.
Or to be simpler, it is improper use of a child.
Well, they're not using the term improper use. They're saying it's not just physical violence. So,
I
not
mean, this is
only
not,
physical.
this is too long of it for the dictionary understanding. The ab prefix, sorry, the ab prefix means away from, and use, you know what use is. So it's away from use, so it's improper use. It is very simple.
Yes, I mean, we can follow the etymology, but as you said, there is a common use, not
Yeah,
necessarily,
of the,
not nec-
and
not necess-
everything I
not.
said is in alignment with this paragraph that you stated. I'm just using fewer words to explain it.
Um,
Because mistreatment also means unusual treatment, the one which would not be allowed under the cultural norms, right? So basically, it is the same thing. So I was correct.
I mean, let me bring up. This is a PDF from the government, childwelfare.gov. Let me try. Can I copy paste this? Let me try. Child abuse is not just. Oh, that's the next. So, what is child abuse and neglect? Recognizing the signs and symptoms. The first step is helping children. No, that's not good. But I think the first definition, child abuse is not just physical violence directed at a child. It is any form of maltreatment by an adult.
Yes, maltreatment is basically improper use. Those are
Why do you
very
keep
similar
why do you keep going back to improper use?
because that is the meaning of the word abuse.
No, no one does that.
Of course,
No,
they
no
do.
one.
Improper use of drugs lead to addiction to drugs, right? That is improper use of a drug. Uh, there is
No, but
improper use of information, improper use of power, improper use of what, many other things.
no, but when you say use, it sounds like a child can be used. But if you
I
would say
mean,
that a child,
use and abuse while having the same root. I mean, the prefix is important. That
I understand. I understand. You're looking at the root of the word and the etymology of the
yeah,
word, which
also
is
common
fine.
meaning.
No, the common meaning is not use. No one uses children.
Well,
If you use if you use children, if you say I'm using children for this or for that, that sounds suspicious. Most people would raise an eyebrow, like that does, right? So they would view using a child already as a form of abuse in the common use of the
this
term
does not
use.
follow. If they use the word abuse and use interchangeably, there wouldn't be a distinction between those two, and this
I'm
distinction does exist.
I'm I'm
But
just saying.
you can change the preposition and change it into uh, schooling is children mistreatment, is child mistreatment, and the state was and my argument will still stand that mistreatment of children is culturally understood, and it's both of our cultures. It is not considered that schooling is child mistreatment, so it is basically the same argument. You are descriptively wrong.
All right, so you're saying that you want to change the proposition. Well, it says
No,
here
I mean you
maltreat.
can. The
Yeah,
preposition
yeah.
works good for me both ways. I don't see much difference between the words abuse and mistreatment when it comes to living organisms.
All right, so okay, let's go with. They mention here the word maltreatment. So let's go with maltreatment. Would you agree or disagree? But oh, you're saying that you don't even have an opinion because you're saying that maltreatment.
I would say I never put out my opinion. My opinion is irrelevant. I'm simply arguing that your preposition is descriptively wrong.
Wait, so you don't have an.
So you
You're
are
saying
incorrect in thinking that.
wait, you're saying that you don't have any opinion about anything in the world that is descriptive?
I mean, my opinion cannot be descriptive. My opinion can be uh, subjective. I can. It is not a fact about the world like it is the customs of a culture. But I
Okay.
never even gave my opinion. It is
All
because
right,
it is
so let's.
irrelevant. My opinion, or basically your opinion, is irrelevant to the proposition. Proposition
All
is
right, so let's.
descriptive.
No, okay, so let me let me rephrase or restate. Hold on, let me just make. So, um, so let's define it as normative. Let's say my proposition is normative, meaning I recommend to view schooling for children as I don't recommend schooling children against their will.
Okay, you can recommend whatever you want. I don't give a fuck. It is irrelevant. I didn't agree to that
What do you,
definition. So
wait,
do
wait,
you
wait,
think
wait,
that
wait.
I've won our debate?
Um, I don't understand. I mean,
I mean, there are on your websites there are rules for winning a debate. Did I win?
mhm.
Because you agree with my understanding of the proposition.
No, I mean, no, no, no. I wouldn't say you won the debate.
Okay, so do you still claim that schooling children is the schooling is child abuse?
Yes,
On
What the
what
fuck?
basis?
What the fuck?
but I would say, um, I would say it more as a normative, not as a
It is
descriptive.
not a normative claim. It isn't
What do you
child
mean?
schooling should be child abuse. Schooling is child abuse. That's not a normative statement.
So,
It is a descriptive
Correct.
one.
Correct.
So do you agree that you lost?
no.
Okay. So what else do I need to do to convince you that schooling is
You need
not child abuse?
you need to change my mind.
Well, I cannot change your mind if you're very stubborn and wouldn't look to the reality.
Okay, that's ad
You,
hominem.
I
Anyway,
mean,
so one second. So look,
I
what I'm
cannot
trying
show
to
you that
say.
there is gravity unless pushing you off the building.
What?
I
Oh,
cannot show you
okay.
gravity unless pushing you off the building, right? You can still
Okay, that's
refuse.
okay. That's totally different topic, so we'll
No, it
ignore
isn't.
it. So, all right. Okay, let's concentrate. Look, I'm open to changing my mind. My mind has not been modified. All you're saying is maybe that the phrasing of my proposition is descriptive, which we could debate that. I mean, I mean, I could, I could, um, I could claim that the way I phrased the proposition could be viewed as, I would say it suggests normative, not descriptive, but
Well,
it,
it doesn't contain should, so it states that schooling is child abuse. That is something that can factually be confirmed, and it isn't.
Yeah.
So it is in no way normative.
Who says these rules that should is always normative and is always descriptive?
Well,
What
probably
the
the
fuck?
same people who distinguish between normative and descriptive, right?
Anyway, how would you phrase it in order to make it normative?
I don't
Oh,
know.
should be
I'm not
viewed.
interested in having a normative debate because it is opinion of two people who don't matter to anybody else other than you and I. That is not the proposition I agreed to. I never agreed to
All right,
debate
let's
normative
go with this.
preposition.
Let's go with descriptive. That schooling against a child's will has
Also, against the child's will is not a part of the proposition.
right. It's not. So we can. I'm looking to modify this proposition so that
If
you
you
would.
modify the proposition, it is a different debate. Did I want this debate?
I don't know because I need to. We need to modify it and
I
see.
mean, if we exclude uh, what is in including child's, including homeschooling, the proposition has 4 words. It's not a very hard proposition to debate. It shouldn't take very long, especially it being descriptive.
Okay, I don't know if to award you a victory because I don't know how you would phrase it um so that it would mean what I wanted it to mean. So I don't know if there's any way to phrase it so that you could go forward and debate me so that you can change my mind. So how can I award you a victory? Right? I need to be able to award you a loss. I mean, I need to be able to.
Well, you can try to show me that descriptively schooling is child abuse. That is how you can, if you can convince me that descriptively schooling is child abuse, in that case, I will concede a loss.
All right. So exactly. So my point is that so I would say schooling harms children. Would you then agree if we prove statistically, empirically that schooling harms children? Would you agree then that that you agree with my
No,
proposition? Oh, oh, fantastic. So we can debate that, right? If that is what I meant. I meant schooling harms
oh,
children. That is,
sorry. You said would you agree with that proposition? Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't care about that proposition. That is not the proposition. It's question. If you argue that
I'm trying.
schooling is child abuse and that harm is equal to child abuse, I don't agree. It's not
Hold on.
descriptively true that harm is abuse. There is
Hold on.
no. They are not the same. So it is irrelevant.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand. I mean, because that's what I meant when I said schooling is child abuse. What I meant to say is schooling harms children. You see how
Well, that is
that?
not the proposition you agreed to. We repeated the
Yeah,
proposition
that's a
several
different
times.
debate.
I think that you should award me the win and change the proposition on your website.
I don't see why.
Because you cannot defend your own proposition.
Okay. All right. It looks like we're at an impasse. So I
And
guess.
since you have since you count debates as winning or losing, did I win or did I lose?
You
Undefined.
won, man.
Undefined. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion. I mean, you did not change my mind. I'm here to seek the truth.
Yeah, and the
I'm he-
truth is that schooling is not child abuse.
You haven't changed my mind. I went through schooling. Schooling for me was definitely child abuse. That's all I'm saying.
You are not
And
you personally are not the arbiter of what is or what is not abuse.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's your opinion.
That's
And
an anecdote.
yeah, it's an anecdote, and I feel it is the rule. I think most
Yeah,
children.
anecdotes are not serious evidence.
Yeah, I'm debating Conan Barberin, so please stop
Yeah.
me.
No, I'm just saying anecdotes is not serious evidence. We
Okay,
all know that.
I'm I don't want to mute you, so please stop. I'm not gonna debate two people
Mr.
simultaneously.
Slave, I advise you that there is a possibility that this will happen if you debate in a public server without a mod.
We can mute whoever interrupts.
Ah,
We
bro,
have.
I'll go on mute. Just tell him anecdotes are not evidence. Thank
All right, I'm muting you. Okay, I muted him, so I'm sorry. I usually don't do this, but I have no choice. Anyway, so look, you now he's typing. This guy. I'm gonna unmute him. I don't feel comfortable muting him. Let's unmute him. But look, Vlad Chiriak, come on, let us debate. Me and you, Vlad, can debate on a different day, a different time. Maybe you can be next if I see that I'm not making progress with Conan. Then I'll debate you gladly. But let me please. I don't want to debate two people simultaneously. That's very difficult. I did. I unmuted you. I can hear you if you say something. But come on, let me concentrate. I promised Conan his time, so let me finish with Conan. Anyway, Conan, thank you, Vlad, for muting yourself. Anyway, Conan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. All right, so look, I'm here to have my mind changed. I had an awful experience with schooling, and I think that most children hate school. Most children would rather go to work and make money, for example, or do a million other things, or stream on YouTube, or teach how to make
I
cookies
don't
on
care
YouTube.
what children want to do, it is not a part of the proposition.
Wait, what?
I don't care what children want to do, it is not a part of the proposition.
I mean, it's implied.
No, it isn't.
Oh, look, we keep having these impasses. I mean, you want to have a very strict usage of the words of my
That's the only way
proposition.
of transmitting information.
Look, the proposition is short so that we can, start a conversation, and then I'll tell you what I think, and then you can change my mind about what I think. Now
I
you
am
keep.
not your psychotherapist to heal your childhood trauma. I have no
Oh,
interest in that.
all right. Vlad, are you interested in debating?
No, we are
Uh,
still debating. I will not go until you say that either I
no,
won or I lost on the
no.
preposition that you have given.
No, you don't want to. You're not interested in changing my mind. That's the first rule
I am
that I.
interested in changing your mind to that you descriptively understand, so that you understand that the schooling is not child abuse. It
I went
cannot
through.
be. I mean, theoretically it can be, but it isn't in both of our cultures.
Okay, explain to me how schooling can be child abuse and how what needs to change in the universe in order
The
for you to
cultures
agree.
need to have negative view of schooling and consider those who send their children to school to be child abusers, and to view the kids which went to school as victims of child abuse, and that is not the case.
Okay, how do you know this is not the case? If I would do to a child what schooling does to a child, I claim I would be a child abuser. A child abuser.
I don't know what you mean schooling does to children. Schooling has very easy definition. It is education received in school, and it in no way entails child abuse, nor it is even seen as child abuse.
Well,
In like, I have very hard time recalling a culture which views schooling as child abuse. Very hard time. I know some regard it as unnecessary luxury, but no one views it as child abuse.
the question is, do you view it as child abuse?
That's not the question.
Okay. I don't know what we're debating, honestly. I don't
Well, we are
understand.
debating your proposition.
I
You
the
gave it.
way
I just picked it from the lineup.
right, but the way you're not changing my mind. You're not even trying to change my mind. I don't know what you're trying to do.
I don't know why I don't know why am I failing to change your mind when I'm providing you with sufficient data for you to realize that it does not the schooling does not constitute a child abuse.
All right. Do you have any data to support your claim? I mean,
There,
could there be data to support your claim?
other than sociological data, like with regards in how cultures view schooling, I don't think so. But I mean, I can probably look up. I don't know if anybody ever made such a study, but I think that you and I understand that culturally schooling is viewed in very positive ways. Do
Um, yeah, I mean, I would agree with that,
okay, if
but
it is
I used
viewed
to
in a positive way,
let me
it
talk.
cannot be viewed as abuse.
1 second. They used to think that beating a child, some people still think that beating a child physically, violence against children, they view it positively. So,
Yeah, one
what,
person's opinion is irrelevant. Cultures determine what is and what isn't abuse, and of course, cultures change. But currently, the statement is denotes present. Currently, both of our cultures view schooling as a positive thing.
let me ask you, if if they would beat children in school, would you agree that that is child abuse?
I don't know what I'm again. I'm not an arbiter. I am simply stating what child abuse is. It is a cultural opinion, and
And
if the opinion of the culture would allow children being hit in school, then it wouldn't be a child abuse, right?
all right, I'll ask again because you did not answer the question. So, if in schools today the teachers would start beating the children, would you view that as child abuse? Yes or no?
Again, it is relevant how I would view it.
You
But today, let me finish.
wait a minute.
Let me
You're refusing.
finish.
You're refusing to answer the question. I honestly don't understand why you're refusing to answer the question.
But if you let me finish, I will answer the question. Again, I am not the arbiter of what is what is it not considered child abuse.
So what are you
Uh,
doing in this debate? What did you think you were going to do in this debate?
what do you think? I was going to show the schooling is not child abuse.
How did you think you were going to convince me? Because I believe it is. How did you think
Descriptively,
you're
same as I would convince you if you think that the world is flat. It is the same thing.
how okay? let's do the reverse. If you needed to, I mean, under what conditions, right? Just a definition. Under what conditions would you define schooling as child abuse? What needs to change in the universe in order for you to agree with the proposition?
The cultural view of schooling.
Meaning?
The culture needs to view school as
Give me an example. Give me an example.
of such a culture.
Give me an example. What needs to change in our universe in order for my proposition to be correct?
You live in like United States. That means that predominant culture of United States needs to view schooling as harmful to the child, as undesirable, and it needs to put
I'll
an
ask
effort to
again.
stop it.
Yeah, that's not an answer. I'll ask again. What needs to change in the universe?
I just told you what needs to change in the universe.
So you're saying that child abuse is just a state of mind? So if people just change their mind as to the definition of child abuse, so
I mean, if definition change, yeah, things would change. But I didn't say the definition of the word abuse needs to change. I just told you that the view of a culture needs to change. And I mean, views of cultures changed a lot of times through history.
so nothing physically can change to alter your mind. So they can put children, they can murder children in school, and you would say that's not child abuse because that is what people do to children. So
If that
nothing.
is a part of the culture, yeah, I cannot. If I would say it otherwise, I would be misusing the words.
Wait a minute, but
I wouldn't be translating information, right?
1 second. So do you agree that the way we view the old time when they used to abuse children, I mean, wait, do you agree that child abuse can exist? I mean, do you agree that, for
I
example,
mean,
that,
child abuse does exist. Many
give me an
actions are
example.
regarded
Give
as child
me an
abuse.
example. Give me an example of actual child abuse, please.
Sexual intercourse with a child under a certain age is considered abusive. Right?
Okay, or let me ask you about an example. What about coercing a child to do something it doesn't want?
It depends. It is very broad. I cannot answer
Yes.
the question with that with little of information.
Yes. Let's come up with a scenario. Yeah, right. But that is where what I'm thinking about. So what constitutes, like, how would you do something to a child against its will that you would agree is child abuse?
Can you repeat that?
What do I need? What do we need to do to a child against its will in order for you to agree that we're abusing the child?
I don't know.
No, I mean we okay. Let's try and come up with an example. So like forced labor. A child doesn't want to go into. Child doesn't want to be. Doesn't want to do forced labor, for example.
In both European, in both Croatian, that's from Croatian, and
What? I didn't understand. Please repeat. Creation?
I'm Croatian,
Croatian. Okay.
and you're from you're probably American from your time zone.
Yes.
Yeah, in both of our cultures, that would be considered child abuse.
For forced labor.
Yes.
What if the child says, "I'd rather do forced labor than go to school"?
Here it is irrelevant. Child wishes is irrelevant.
So if the child is crying and is very upset, what if the child really suffers in school, that all the children are bullying him, her, and
Bullying
everybody?
is different than schooling.
Oh, but all right. Okay, let's talk about the bullying aspect. Do you agree that there
No,
is some?
I don't want to talk about that because it is not important to the preposition. Schooling and bullying are two different actions, and they're not similar in any way, or do they need to be connected?
Okay. I mean, I don't know how to continue. I'm sorry. I mean, you need to help me. If you want to win, I want you to win, but you're not trying to change my mind about schooling. Look, I'll tell you again how I feel about schooling. I
It is
feel
irrelevant
schooling,
how you feel about it. We are
so
not
I don't
debating your
understand.
feelings.
Okay, so you're not trying to change my
Okay, I
mind.
know I know how I will change your mind.
Go ahead.
Okay? Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that everything in the world revolves only that facts about the world depend on your feelings? Do you think that just because you don't like volcano exploding that doesn't mean that volcano will explode?
I don't know how to answer that question, but I guess the answer is yeah. I mean, my personal feelings about volcanoes, I fail to see. Wait, what are you asking?
Do you
If
think
I
that
agree?
your
Oh,
personal feelings change the matters of the universe?
I would say that my feelings about an observation have no impact on the observation,
Great,
on the data, right? If
great.
I
That's all
Yes.
I needed. That means that your personal view of schooling is irrelevant. Like,
Um,
so in
okay.
fact, schooling.
No,
How
no.
no?
Look, but I feel right. But I feel that, look, I'm observing the data. I'm observing a phenomenon called schooling. And I see and I know the definition of child abuse. And my
Okay, can
conclusion,
you stand the
let
definition
me
of child
finish.
abuse, or do you
Let me
stand
finish.
with the one that you posted in the text?
Let me let me finish, please. I am observing a scientific phenomenon called schooling, and I'm observing another scientific phenomenon called child abuse. And I I see the parallels between those two scientific phenomenon, and as an observant scientist, I have to conclude that the natural phenomenon that I'm observing called schooling, I am forced logically to include it under the rubric, under the definition of the scientific phenomenon that I observed of child abuse.
Can you
Nothing to
explain
do.
those for me, by the way?
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
I just want you to like, you're saying they're similar and you can see parallels, but can you actually give examples instead of just being
Yeah,
vague?
sure. I mean,
Thank you.
my personal experience of schooling was basically child abuse. I was abused into the schooling system. The schooling system,
Yeah, but you're not
schooling,
giving examples. You're just saying I was abused. Can you give like specific what happened, like specifically, so I can actually understand your argument?
I never wanted to go to school. I was forced to go to school. I suffered going to school. It was pure suffering. It was nothing but suffering.
Why?
It was excruciatingly boring. The teacher, I mean, it was just, I just didn't want to. I didn't want to go to school.
So any
Why?
school or that school?
Well, that was my experience. I mean, if you would have told me, listen, you have to complete this knowledge in order to get this degree, I probably would have preferred it instead of going to school and sitting in class and being quiet and not moving. I found it
So
to be.
so do you
Mm-hmm,
think if a child was ill
mm-hmm,
and really didn't want to have the medicine,
mm-hmm.
you think that's abusive to give the child medicine that would cure the child?
That's a good question. Um,
It sounds like you have to say yes in that scenario, right? Because the child doesn't want it, so therefore abusive.
Right, but even today, when I look back, right, you could argue today that I look back at schooling, I don't, I mean, I mean, I still view it even more than I did then. Today, I view schooling much more as child abuse and harmful to children.
No, but what about medicine? Say a child has cancer and doesn't want to take chemo because of how it makes them feel. Is that abusive? Bear in mind, it would
Um,
cure the child, right? Like a high success, like a
question,
high chance of
the
curing
question
the
is,
child.
the question is, how would the child view it after when it's an adult? Like, I guess, right? I mean, what is
Well,
the
you can't. How do you figure that out, right? You do your
I
best.
mean, you do your best, yeah, but you can tell from other cases. I think most children, I've never heard of a child that says, "I don't want to go through chemo." I don't think they're ever
I'm pretty
forced.
sure chemo is pretty bad. I'm pretty sure children are crying about it and not wanting to do it, right? Like,
I mean, fine. The question is, I mean, it might be child abuse then. I mean, if a child wants to die, just leave me alone. I want to die.
can you define child abuse?
If I guess if the child doesn't like it, then it's child abuse.
Okay, well, let's just define abuse. I'll just do a quick
Hmm?
definition and then let's see if you agree with it. Because
Jason,
No,
this was supposed to be one debate, but yeah, we already covered all of this.
yeah.
I mean, this is
I
very.
okay,
mean,
I'm sorry.
no, it's
I'll
okay
mute.
because no, don't mute because I'm not making any headway with Conan.
Well,
He's
you can. I mean, if you want me to end, then end. But that would mean that you are leaving the debate, which would mean that you lost.
um if that, then yeah, I'll award you a win. If I cannot,
So you award me a win.
yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
needed. Thank you.
you're welcome. Yes, Jason, we can continue.